All black.
All black.
The same black ones. I have maybe one in red and one in orange, but for the most part, I usually just wear all black.
I'm that guy though. Like when I like something,
right?
Pull the mics close when we
yeah.
We're going.
Yeah, I literally, that's in the summertime. These are the main shorts I wear, but these ones, so they've every like year or two, Nike will, I guess, update what it looks like a little bit.
Yeah.
And these ones do not sit well in this region, so I'm like,
because you thick.
Take
note.
note.
Honestly, I don't think it's not meant like large are meant for probably like tall guys, not thick guys.
I love these guys both got like crazy nice fashion, eh? Like
you're like, I got the smalls.
I got like my dirty sneakers on, like
that's all right.
Wrinkly white tee.
I saw you throw it on when we came in.
I can't go in on a tank top. Like you guys look.
Connor stole that look.
You look stylish though. Like
Connor stole the look.
That's a fit, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's true. You can just pull these things together. Like, you would never think like a tank top and it works.
I saw the fit you had for the LV show. What was that?
I wish I got to keep that outfit.
They didn't let you keep it?
Oh, I didn't know that.
That'd be cheese.
Yeah.
Tell George, because George isn't on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm not on social media or anything.
Just DJ'd this like Louis Vuitton. Oh, actually, the men's opening store on Rodeo in LA.
Oh, cool.
And
Casual says that.
chose the like outfit, and I was like, damn, it had like flowers, denim, like all denim, but like the weight of you're like, oh, this is why it's so
just
expensive.
look rich.
It just look, and when you put it on, you're like, fuck, like
this is expensive.
You know. Anyway, I didn't
like
obviously
kids'
get to keep
yearly
it, but
tuition.
it was It's just funny because you like cruise through the store and like all the like kids that love the brand are just like walking up being like, what? Like, how do you have that? You know, and you're like, I don't even know what I'm wearing. Like, I'm like, they're like, oh, that collection? Like, oh, the pants too? You know, like everything, and you're just like feel kind of
You feel cool, but you're like,
but you're also like, and then you like hang after, and you just, I don't know, you have the shoes, everything, but the kids that don't know that you just DJ'd and you're walking around the store after, they're like looking at you like, damn, this guy like really loves Louis.
Yeah,
like, this guy came here to the event like flexing so hard.
They hired him, and he was on
my
brand.
Briefcase with my computer, like
but then when you got to give it back, you're like,
right away, you get the email like, and when can we pick it up? I'm not making myself sound very cool, but you know, at least I got to wear.
At least you look sick.
You get to wear it for a bit, and it
Did you
feels
wear
good.
it home? Like, where you could you walk?
Like I came out and I was like,
so you're like this. You're like this. This is mine. Like this is.
Oh
mine.
no, yeah, you're wearing like
I'm
you
going
get like the
home
day.
with this outfit. You're like
Well, no, I got it like the day before, so like shot a couple videos in it, and then. But we get in the car after, and I'm like, so should we go for dinner? She's like, you never like asked to go for dinner on like a Wednesday night, and she's like, you must be feeling really good in your outfit.
Look good, feel good, eh?
Yeah. But
One thing, make sure you guys, and Danny to the sound, keep the mic like about a fist away when you turn.
Close.
Yeah, super close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do good, Danny.
Our mics are kind of shit.
check.
Our
I wanted to
manager-
ask, like, I haven't, when you say playing at like the opening of like Louis Vuitton store. I mean, obviously, it's probably a way sicker party than like what I can imagine. But it's funny because I'm thinking of like, you walk into like a guest and you see like a guy in the corner like playing whatever, and you hear like, it's obviously not the same, but like I'm just trying to picture this stuff, and I'm like, it's kind of interesting that they do like a big launch, bring these DJs in for this party. Like, mind you, Rodeo Drive's probably a bit of a different beast in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. It changed. Like, obviously, Conor. That's like how we got into DJing, I mean, like first obviously clubs and everything, but then like Conor and I in Toronto, that's how we kind of met. Because it was like, if it was a corporate private event, like a fashion brand, it was either Conor or myself. And it was always like, we were like competing for those gigs.
Bitter rivals.
Actually, I didn't know that.
That's actually how it began. Like we were, like he said, like it was literally a situation of, when like the big event was coming to town, whether it was an opening or just some crazy event, like it would pretty much be me or Guy who was gonna be doing the event, and like you never know. And like this was also at a time when like we didn't really even know each other too much. Like, we knew of each other, but like we had never really like
fuck that guy just took that Red Bull party. From
oh
me.
yeah, like whenever I'd see
that
Conor,
guy's getting the Louis Vuitton fit on this.
I'm going to Gucci then.
and then after a while, I was like, all right, we need to like meet up and
talk about this.
Just like So,
but it was like early. That's like
early,
fucking years ago. Like
I know.
Now it's like, with social media, even like Instagram, like 7-8 years ago, it's like it's so different. So it's being those, we were kind of like trying to figure out like, oh, we need like a following, like bring people out to like shows, and then also get like fashion brands to be in, want to like have us DJ and stuff. So it's a bit, it's how we met. And then eventually Connor's like, all right, like, do you want to go grab sushi and chat about what we're doing and what you're up to?
So in a nutshell, like you guys were competing against each other and like, taking each other's business, so to speak, and then you said, you know what? It's only us two. We come together. We have a monopoly. We charge whatever we want. All the best clothes, all the best parties. It's just us now.
Just us.
So essentially, you guys control the market. I'm kidding.
That was the idea.
Didn't go exactly like that.
He knew exactly.
I remember
I'm
back in the
teasing,
day
I'm
when you were
teasing.
doing that. Was it Kitchener Waterloo?
Oh yeah.
You did that whole was it you and Josh?
Yeah.
Josh was your promoter, and then it was you, and you guys had like the whole circuit.
Yeah, so it was crazy.
Kitchener,
so, like,
Waterloo, Cambridge, right? Those were the three cities.
Yeah, so like I went to Laurier.
Yeah.
You were at Western,
yeah,
so I went to Laurier. Had never really DJ'd out in a nightclub in my entire life. Wasn't even really interested in. I was like really heavily involved in the turntablism, like DJ, like super technical, like scratch, like the DMCs, the Rebel 3 style type competition style of DJing. More than I was ever into like the partying side. And then I met Josh Seaton, shout out, my very first manager. And
the club promoter manager.
And who put his photo on your business card.
So I mean,
come on, talk about that.
I gotta send you this. Okay, so let me just preface this.
George, you have to superimpose this business card, right?
Yeah. Connor will send it to you.
Danny, write down the time on this one.
So fucking funny. Okay, so Josh was super dope. Like he was so good at his job. Like,
you say was, eh? He's still around.
He's
still a cool dude.
When he was, he's crushing it now. But when we were at Laurier, he was like the guy. Like he was like, all right, I know everyone in every single city, and like we are gonna just be throwing parties. And he was booking DJs left and right. And so he actually kind of put me on like first, And so we started doing parties in Kitchener Waterloo. I was doing every we were at one point I was doing I think 6 nights a week at Laurier.
And you're probably like 21
at school. Like I still was in school for communication studies, and then like on the weekends we'd go to London or we'd go to Guelph or Kitchener, Kingston, Ottawa, like wherever, But so to get to this point where Josh is being hilarious as a manager. So like at one point it's like, all right, now we need to get a press kit going so we can start doing more like more cross country type stuff, like some like bigger stuff. And he's like, all right, I need to get you a press kit, so like let me design this press kit for you. I was like, great, like you do your
that's a good manager. You're designing, you're taking care of everything. I like that.
Do your managerial thing, So he took care of it took a couple weeks, and he eventually presented my new press kit to me, and this was like the electro days, so I got a hot pink press kit, like really cool,
black and pink,
like just like dope, like electro vibes. And then like so in the back of it there's obviously like the contact, and there and there's a picture of Josh on the back of my press kit beside me, that like he superimposed. It was like the press kit is like like whether the Chainsmokers, whether whoever, it's like it's about the artist, okay? But like Josh was like, there's a picture of Josh standing
in like a suit
crossed, and like he's like, I'm the manager. Like,
trying to be like that Ari Gold look. In a suit. That's amazing.
And like so, like to this day, I still have that. And Josh Seaton.
You guys send us a picture of that one.
Oh well, I'll send you the picture.
Oh yeah, it's like, I have it. I kept it.
It's just
I think
it's like the yearly joke or something.
Oh yeah.
On Josh's birthday, you send them it or something.
Yeah, literally. Oh, it was
I had a similar experience when I was DJed at Western when I was there. Kind of similar.
He knows Andrew.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, Andrew Moretti.
Oh yeah.
So Ricky and Alexander kind of got me into it. I used to be a drummer, got me to DJing. Fast forward, I was like DJing as a duo, and then I went off on my own to do it. Trying to think of a name.
Yeah.
My name ended up being Givambi, but the reason I got there is Andrew Moretti was like, I was trying to think of names. Like, you need something that sounds Dutch and French and has a Vaughn in it because you'll sound legit. And I was like, I don't know what that means. But I landed on the name. Whatever. I took his advice, went with it. So then we fast forward. He's like, we'll do a press kit. We got to get headshots for you. I'm like, okay, cool. Never done that. Whatever. So I show up and we're there and he brings some stuff. I bring my like all black, whatever a DJ wears. Just black t-shirt, black jeans. And he's like, no, you can't wear that. Everyone wears that. This is what you're gonna wear. He gives me like a blazer.
And this is when like Swedish House Mafia is like massive and like they're just wearing plain black. Like
yeah,
the look.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, take one like that if you want, but I'm gonna make this for you. You're gonna be great. I got your name already. I'm gonna give you the press kit, give you the shot. You're gonna blow this out of the water. So he gives me like this jacket and this scarf thing. I'm like, what the hell is this? And he goes, it's an ascot. And I'm like, the fuck's an ascot? And he goes, don't worry, I'll put it on for you. And he puts it on my neck, and I literally look like a French poet or something.
Like the pirate aesthetic.
Like, you
almost,
tie
like
the little handkerchief. I think women wear more than men do. Or like English men.
Did you go with it?
Well, I took the
so
I took it,
now.
and he was trying to get me to use that photo more. I'm like, dude, I can't. I'm in university. I'm in like third year. I cannot put this on like a flyer.
I want to
like,
talk to a couple girls at least.
Yeah.
Anyways, but then he would send it out kind of a little bit joking. I don't know if he's joking or serious, but anyway,
Imagine your like gigs doubled. You're like, what the fuck? the scarf.
The ascot is in. I guess I'm going with this. Anyways,
scarf.
it's so funny because I also didn't know any better then. I was like, I'm happy to be here, whatever.
Totally.
You know,
They're like, a photo shoot? Cool. People taking my pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I mean, you gotta like. Everyone goes through. I mean, you go
those like
do what you
awkward,
gotta
weird,
do, like, when you
questionable
start
phases.
out,
I used to. I don't know if you remember. I used to take my shirt off and DJ like almost every single.
But I feel like
night.
every like promoter DJ when we were kids, we all did it.
Yeah.
I think you still do it. Ricky, any
Because he's got the
opportunity to take your
body
shirt off.
for it.
Yeah,
It's-
work hard, play hard.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't try to look like
You
this to
de-
keep my shirt on.
You deserve it. Yeah. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
Man, these are the people I need going to clubs with me. This is the energy I need. Now my friend's like, Ricky, put your shirt on. You're 31 years old. I was like, "Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, you're like, come on, man, you can't be doing that at this age.
yeah.
But that's so to jump back to, that's how you guys got started, got into it.
Yeah. I mean, like, realistically, this guy was like the OG, and I kind of came in a different way. I was just like, I had a clothing line and I was like trying to promote my clothes and like new collections. So I would throw parties. And then eventually it was just like, but every time I throw a party, the like person would be like, if you need any help setting up, like call Conor Cutz. And I like,
Fuck this guy.
Who was this guy?
But I didn't know who he was, but he was actually the only guy, like, which I always tell you, he was like the nicest of the, keep talking, tell us more. He was the nicest guy, like, in the circuit. Like, breaking in is like, it's really fucking hard. Like, you're coming into a club at 10 and they're telling you to like open for someone. I was telling my dad this today where we were just talking about like opening DJs and all this stuff, and I was just like, yeah, you used to like come in, play, and like they're like, oh yeah, start at 10, doors are at 10. You're like, all right, cool. Like you start playing, and then they're like still chopping limes behind the bar and like, doing all their shit. And then as soon as like the first kind of person rolls in, then the DJ shows up that's like after you, and he's just like, all right, all good, I'll take it from here. And you're like, fuck, like people are just showing up. Like, you
can't play any bangers either.
Oh no, you play one and all of a sudden it's just like, bro, it's only 10:30, and you're like, well, like,
and like,
it's a grind.
Mad respect for all the open, like, even we still do opening sets, locally as well, and anyone who's in the, anyone who's on the come up, like, mad respect for the opening set, because like it's the hardest part of the night. Like, and like you said, like your job as an opener, whether you're playing main stage or a huge stage or just a local pub down the street, your job is to keep people there, but not like you're not playing the bangers, because like that's that's for the main act to play.
You're trying to like coax the crowd a bit, listen some like feel
good enough shit to keep them around, but not the shit that the next guy's gonna play.
So somebody told me this a few years back. The opening DJ is like the stay-at-home defenseman. You get no glory. But if you screw up, everybody knows exactly whose fault it is.
Yeah, totally.
Or it's like the middle lineman on like your O line.
Yeah.
Like you get zero glory.
Yeah, the left guard. No one knows the left guard.
Nobody knows your name. Nobody cares. But if you suck,
protect the quarterback.
You are getting your ass chewed apart.
Totally.
Whether it's by the headliner, whether it's by the one of the bar managers, or it's the crowd themselves. Like, we want this.
Oh yeah.
I still got 30 minutes.
And it's hard because everyone's like lit up, showing up, and being like, "Yo, play like the new song," because it's their moment. They're like, "I'm leaving. I'm going to the next spot." And you're like, "I can't play." It's like the hardest thing. You're just trying to juggle everyone's feelings and emotions in that moment.
And there's no win. There's no win.
And everyone gets chewed
there's
out.
no glory. It's not like, oh man, great opening set.
Yeah.
No, either killed or thanks.
Move
thanks,
on.
Appreciate it.
Let me just jump on that. One of the best things you can say to a DJ is literally that. Just go up to even if you're walking by and just be like, just go to the quick thumbs up. Be like, or like that.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea how much that will like that just makes our night just like so much better. We're like, yes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
I always
It's the
said
little
it's
wins, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the tiny little wins, you know. It's just,
I always said it's like it's almost one of the like loneliest like
yeah.
sometimes, you know, of course it depends on the set, but like we've all had those sets where you're just like everyone's vibing, but you're like really like if you like get outside of your like zone, you're like I'm just solo, like
Yeah.
no one's you know, you're not like
no
with
one's
your
the booth's not
homies.
packed yet
You're not
either.
with
It's
your
not like we want to come
homies.
hang out. Yeah, you're just up
Yeah,
there letting the
like-
club fill up
Yeah.
or the room fill up.
So it's
And
funny,
yeah,
but
like keeping and exactly like you're watching the night like go from here and like you're just watching the night build, you know, and your job is to, you know, like it's such a subtle art, you know what I mean, of playing all the right tunes to like to not scare people away when they get there, you know, and just keep like,
Keep
just,
them
like
in.
that perfect right little balance in there.
What did Ollie used to say? He said it to you once
What?
about the opening set.
Because you got to take them on a ride, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Like an emotional ride.
Yeah.
I do have a funny, like, two things. I wanted to ask if you guys have had experiences like this, when even in the early days or whenever.
yeah.
Because I've actually had
know exactly
a
what
pretty
this is.
big international DJ tell me to, like, hey, yo, tone it down.
Yeah.
And I've had a manager tell me that if I didn't change the style of music, his group was leaving.
Yeah.
So Max Vangelli told me, like, yo, like, what are you doing here? This is when I
Yeah.
was like, probably mostly ego, because I got a residency in London at Cobra. It was like my first big shows, and I was like, let me hit him with some like, not. It was
Like
like
a month
older
into his
progressive house, but it
residency.
was like banging at 128 BPM.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
It's getting ahead of
He's
myself.
going.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, can you bring it like back down? I'm going on in a bit. I was like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Here's one more banger.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
After
But,
these next
Music's too loud.
Ricky, was it you that booked Above and Beyond? I'm not big into trance or whatever, and so I was like, okay, this is good. Like I play like more progressive, that stuff. So their trance, I could kind of like maybe get some teeter that line a bit. And I was like, I think I had an hour and a half to open for them, and about an hour in, their manager comes out and he's like, I was at London Music Hall, he's like yelling at me. He's like, turn this down, it's trance. I'm like, what? I was like, this is like progressive house music. I was like, I can bring it down. I apologize, but like this is progressive house. He goes, no,
Yeah.
this is trance. If you keep playing trance, we're gonna throw you out. I was like, dude, I'm like, you manage a trance group. How do you not know what trance? Like, even I know, I don't like trance, and I know this is not trance.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's like, turn it down. I was like, I started panicking because like the room was full
I'm
of people.
fucking panicking
Yeah.
at this
And I was
point.
like,
This
shit,
is
like, what do I play?
This is my
Like,
dude, like,
True.
Anyway, so I
Like,
got
I just
yelled at
threw him
a
in.
couple times.
And it's so
always
hard.
deserved. It was 100%
No,
deserved.
but the thing was like George was good. Like respectfully, George.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is at like the end of fourth year. Where like George's been DJing. Like he was our opening DJ for any event we booked
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
last
yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
Like opened for Avicii. I think you did Calvin Harris, Above and Beyond, Gareth Emery, Data Life.
Oh,
Like,
Gary, that
Yeah.
was another bad one
Sorry.
too. I played his opening song.
Oh,
as
yeah.
my last song.
that
No, it wasn't his song.
This
it
is
wasn't
the
his
best.
song.
It was his
Oh,
remix.
so
Sorry,
it's the
that-
one he was going to. Like,
My brother
yeah.
came to town from Queens and goes, "Hey, I heard this new song. It's really good." And I was like, "Okay, I heard it. It's like an oldie Euro song that was like remixed to like sort of progressive house."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, it's cool. I'll play it at some point." And I played it like maybe like one of my few
This
last
is
songs.
amazing.
And he comes out on stage and plays it. And my brother's next to me. I look at him. I was like, "You moron!" Like, I thought like you just found it, like not like a new song, but you just figured it out. It like now I look at Beatport on my phone.
Yeah.
Just came out, #1 song, and he opened with it. And I was
He
like,
opened with
"I'm an
That was
idiot."
a funny one.
Wow.
So I was a
that's
terrible
great.
DJ, basically. That's what I'm getting at.
You're like, I didn't really
But
find
let me
my.
ask you guys: have you ever had any experiences?
That's hilarious.
Oh my god, I've had a bunch of those
Okay.
experiences actually. Yeah, I saw this funny meme. I can't remember it specifically, but it was like I posted it the other day. I don't know if you saw, but it was like you know like you know PSA to like all the like opening DJs out there. Like if you're ever opening for a big artist, you know. Make sure that you play a lot of their songs to show that you respect them and to get the audience hyped up for what's to come.
Basically, that was me. That's literally me.
And it was just this like, because again, like, you know, I've had a couple situations. I mean, yeah, like a few. One with Aoki, I remember specifically. I did in Kitchener, and this is at a time like I'd played with Aoki like maybe like 3 or 4 times, opened for him on separate occasions. And so I was like pretty familiar with like the style that he was playing, and this was when like Dutch House was like just popping, like you know, like Sidney Sampson, like,
And all the Vaughns, yeah.
yeah. And I was like, okay, this was like when it was like kind of just new. So like I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna kind of play like just some of these types of records in my set, and I mean, you never get sent any of these guys' sets ahead of time, right? So you don't know what they're gonna play. So like I was like, I'm just gonna play a couple of these songs, and like I think like I played like 1 or 2 songs that he was planning on playing, and like they were like I remember from them getting like, he's gonna play this song, and I was like, oh my god, they're like, he's gonna walk out of the door if you keep playing this. I'm like, I have no idea, like I don't know. Panic, okay, next song. Now I'm like, because like, and I totally respect like like they have their set in mind, they want to do their thing, but like I like like you never really know, you're kind of just guessing, and I'm I guess I made the wrong error. I was like, I didn't think he was gonna play it, so that's why I played it. Like try to do a little thing different.
Think about how hard it is nowadays, because like so many DJs go in like the vault and pick up like an ABBA song. Basically, if you're an opening DJ, you can't play an ABBA song. Because you don't know if any DJ can play an ABBA song at any given time.
That's very true, actually.
Like ABBA now, like
it's like a staple in every DJ set.
But 5 years ago, 5 years ago, ABBA was never played. Gimme Gimme,
totally. No, I know.
Voulez-vous, never.
Yeah.
Even the fucking Mamma Mia song, like I hear
all bangers.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like you cannot go to a club and not hear Gimme Gimme.
Yeah.
So funny. It's so funny you mentioned that. So like I was in a random email chain with Lee Cabrera, who was the guy who remixed "Gimme Gimme." Like that's his remix. And I was emailing him. I was like, and I didn't really even realize it was him at the time. I was like, oh my god. I was like, dude. I'm like, shout out you. Like I played your song all the time in Toronto. Like we play it every single night. He's like, I didn't say what song, and he's like, let me guess, Gimme Gimme. And I'm like, yep. I'm like, of course, man. Like, that's the one.
Imagine you said another song.
Well, no, I did. Like, it's like I can't remember what the other one was, which I have played before in the past a few times, but I looked it up and I was like, oh, and that one too. Like, and like
Feed his ego a little bit.
Like, but like I do actually like he's the man. And
it's like levels like 10 years ago.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Or and 10 years ago, any Swedish House Mafia song was like off limits for an opening DJ for like big room, like progressive house. Now it's anything ABBA, don't touch. Rufus, depending on the DJ, like like Inner Bloom is one of those songs where you never know if the DJ can open with that or something.
Like, it's really difficult being an opening DJ for an act. So
there's zero fucking glory.
Yeah,
zero glory.
This one time.
You get a 30-second handoff of the USB. That's it. Or no, the headphones. That's
the
what
headphones.
I remember this one time. I told you this story. This one time I was opening. It was crazy. I was opening for Russ at Russ, like the rapper.
He's fucking massive.
Oh, dude, he's crazy. Yeah, he's sick. He's so dope. And I was opening for him at the Air Canada Center. Right? Big, like
we're talking, how massive he
is. Big event. Like, and it was crazy. I remember getting asked that day. They called me that day and they're like, I don't know what happened, but they're like, we need an opening DJ. Can you do it? And I was like, of course. Like,
clear my
no
fucking schedule to play at the Air Canada Center.
Yeah, I know. Right?
And so it was like, and then so it's one of those things. Like, okay, he's gonna do obviously his own song. So like, let me like put together like a dope like opening like hip hop set. That makes sense in this kind of environment or whatever. And I remember I had this like one like really crazy Azealia Banks record randomly that would like that was like this like OG like underground record of hers. And I was like, this is so perfect. Played it and like immediately they're like, you can't play this. And I was like, oh shit, like in front of like I don't know like 10,000 people maybe. I was like, he runs on stage like, or his manager, whoever's like, you can't play this. I was like, oh fuck, okay.
Restaurants
and then
imagine I'm playing that.
And then
right now
the funniest was like, okay, so I switch over real quick and I'm going and like I'm riding, I'm like I'm feeling good, like I'm getting through this set, like it's everything's going well. People are they're not dancing, they're just watching, doing
moving a little.
And that's the other weird thing too, like playing at the ACC, like you're on stage, like you're like people are like they're looking at you, like you're the act, like you're the show, because I was in the middle of the stage, like biggest speakers I've ever been around, right beside me, people are staring at me like I'm the act. It's not like you go to a bar and you're like, oh, I can go to the bar,
you're in the corner.
So, and I remember I had these like crazy like Hawaiian camo pants on. Okay. And like
I must not have approved it.
You would never.
I didn't approve the look.
But I had these like crazy Hawaiian camo pants on, jean jacket. And I was like, I look dope. I was like, this is a good look for me. I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. And you could hear it, and I could hear some people in the crowd. And this one goes like, hey. It's like, hey. And I'm like, looking. He's like, yeah. He's like, what's going on, man? He's like, nice pants. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, weirdo. I was like, hey, dude.
Daddy,
and you gotta understand, this is me. Like I'm
All
on
confidence.
stage in front of all these people. You can't be like, fuck you. You know, you gotta be like, you got me. I'm gonna go back and just keep DJing and be like,
all confidence out the
he's
window.
like, yeah, he's like, I got that guy. So like mad respect for that guy for saying that. But like, that was like, it just
That is
completely
so.
threw me
Who
off.
does that? Like, that's gutless, man.
Yeah.
I was like,
This is weird. This is this guy's
not a weirdo.
It's like, yo,
Yeah.
just paint. You're here to see me, technically.
Yeah.
So
This guy's moment.
yeah,
I'm
like,
ripping
I
him
mean,
apart.
Opening for DJs, man. It's always something.
There you go.
man.
No glory, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more quick story, but I remember this other time.
Hit us, man. You got all the time in the
Yeah,
world. Go.
Yeah, I remember this other time I was opening for Aoki actually. I was another second time opening for Aoki.
Aoki hates you at this
And the last time, yeah.
This
The
one,
second
this one was actually a really good one.
This is the
but
fourth time. There hasn't been a fifth.
Yeah.
This
Can't have
was-
him back.
This was
Like,
the
that's why they
yeah.
changed. They go to their flight school now.
Yeah, honestly, it was like
We had a
too
rebrand.
crazy.
No, this was a redeeming story. But I remember I was opening for him in St. Catharines. Actually, I don't know if maybe you were at this.
I went to Brock. Yeah. So
I don't know, did you go to Aoki when he was? I can't remember what the
I
bar
don't
was.
know.
Anyway, so like he was playing some bar in St. Catharines. I was scheduled to open for him, and I got there and like all of a sudden my hard drive like didn't work. Like nothing was working at all. Like on my computer, like no songs were loading. I'm like, you know, like fuck. Like I got brought down for this. Like this sucks. Like I'm opening. It wasn't just another night. I'm open. You know, this is a big night for me. And then so the opening DJ who was before me, I was the second opener. The guy who was on before me, like, I can't remember his name. I wish I could. You know, I'd shout him out so hard because this guy saved me so hard. But he let me. He's like, listen, man, like, you can use my laptop. You can use all my records. And I looked at his laptop. I had no idea what any of the songs were. And then this was like, I never DJed with headphones either back in the day. I still don't. And I'm like, so I couldn't listen to anything ahead of time. So I'm literally DJing. There's like, I don't know, like 800, 900 people there at this party. I'm on right now, and I'm literally turning around every song. I'm be like, "Is this a good one? Is this a good song to play?" He looks at it. He's like, "Yeah, it's a good one." I was like,
That's so good.
and I'm like, and it was crazy. Like it was like one crowd.
That's almost
surfing.
more fun.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how we should play. You
I mean,
just like
totally. Like it is. Yeah.
it's just like I don't know. You get tired of
moment though.
you get tired of your
you-
library.
Yeah.
You're
I had
like
no
you know
idea.
you're like
I had no idea what I was playing.
you're
that's
reading
so
the same
fun.
So even after that too, so you say you never DJ the headphones. Even after that incident, there was not a thought in your head like maybe I should carry headphones just in case. You're just like, I'm gonna roll the dice again.
Okay, so so like I don't know if you guys remember Snow Jam. You guys remember
of
Snow
course.
Jam?
Yeah.
Okay, so like yeah, so we went on. I was at Snow Jam every single weekend. Like we were myself and my buddy Pat, DJ Rouge, shout out.
Oh,
yeah,
I
DJ
remember.
Rouge.
Yeah,
DJ
yeah.
Rouge, yeah. We were.
What's his real name? Pat McDonald.
Pat McDonald. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Runs Exile Lifestyle.
Yeah.
12 bars, Bunny Hop.
Yeah, 12
We were the DJs for like I think they had like 9 or 10 weekends of
Snow Jam.
of
yeah.
Snow
Every
Jams.
different school did it.
Yeah, we used to
Yeah.
drive up. We used to drive up and back every weekend,
Come
12
on.
times, or like 8 or 9 times. It was crazy. Eventually, we just like ended up staying up there for like 2 months, and it was great. But yeah, like so this was like kind of at the like beginning-ish of my DJ career, and one of our other buddies, Johnny Tays, who,
yeah.
shout out Johnny T.
He works downtown as a bartender now.
No, he's
He's with Ian.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know that name is I see him in the stories. They're snowboarding all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's
He's
a
in
DJ
Whistler.
as well. They have a group called Case of the Mondays. They make crazy
great
tech
name.
house.
That's sick.
And yeah, like so he was also up there at the same time. And this one time we were DJing at one of the spots, and as Johnny would do, he wore my headphones attached to the mixer. Like he's like, I'm gonna go take a smoke out back, like mid DJ set, as one does, I guess.
At Snow Jam.
Went out back and
Bro,
closed the door basically, and like my headphones flung back and they slammed and crushed on the door, completely broken, like a million pieces, and since that day I was like, well, I have to learn how to now DJ without these, and like it just kind of
Yeah.
that's weird though. We were like kind of two people like then you saw me DJ and I didn't really use headphones, and it was like this like weird like thing that we just like.
And that's the thing too, like
connected.
Yeah, like because like for me, like I mean, we use Serato, so like it's like it's there. You can see the waveform, and like if you know the music, like you're like, you can line it up and like you're like, okay, like like it works. I totally understand if you don't know the song, like you would
you check it and like
check, but like there's definitely it's not like impossible to DJ without headphones.
It's almost like you want to hear what
that's kind of
what other people are hearing,
So
like,
that's what I did the same thing. I mean, I had headphones, and I would use them, but I was the same way. I used USB. Well, I started with Serato, then I moved to like CD and then USB. Yeah. But even USBs when the 2000s came out, you can see everything on it. And I always found that interesting because I grew up. Swedish House Mafia was like, I thought they were the coolest. I'm like, especially Axwell wears headphones backwards or whatever.
Yeah.
We're getting them on the pod.
And as I started playing, I did the same thing. I would have them in case, make sure it's not skipping the beat a little bit. But then when I would do it, I'm like, oh, this is easy. I don't really need them. Like I might check one or two. Yeah. But I always found it funny because I agree with how you guys do it. But then you see these DJs who, let's take Swedish House Mafia when they're playing Coachella and they're picking them up, exaggerating. Man, you guys have a not pre-recorded. You know every song coming down the pipe. You know when to mix it in. Like it's so interesting how these acts still kind of lean into it, and because I guess people maybe expected it. You gotta
it's part of the show.
Yeah, it's part of the show.
It's the look. It's the show.
Yeah, you gotta and it's also you got things to do,
Like I feel like on any major set now for any major DJs, like you basically know exactly what you're playing start to finish.
You almost have to.
Yeah. Well, especially like I remember, was it Angelo that got chirped because I think it was EDC or something. There was like the recording from behind his head. The last 14 or 15 minutes, he literally almost did nothing. Right. And people online are roasting him. It's like, well, first off, the pyro, the visuals. Everything, of course, it's I don't want to say preset, but like it's pre-planned 100%.
There's no
too much
timing.
Yeah,
like you literally need to end at an exact time. Like things just have to be a little bit. It's not. You're not just like freestyling through songs.
That's why
like
I love some
club,
of the like when DJs play like after party shows, like those like Loud Luxury. They do it at the frat houses all the time. Like when we saw Loud Luxury in Copenhagen, this was 4 or 5 years ago. We were chatting like, we're playing this like DJ show, this radio show in Copenhagen. Come by. So me and Georgie and another buddy, we flew over. We were in Ibiza. It wasn't a radio show. It was a festival. Like like when Virgin throws on their festivals. Yeah. So they played at Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen. It's like the oldest amusement park in the world. 20,000 people, 30,000. And the set was great. It's pre-recorded all their like normal bangers, right?
Yeah.
Then they played this after party in this like house club.
It was a club, but it was like a European. It actually kind of looked like how.
House.
I feel like it's like a Jim Bobsy vibe. Like it just you know what I mean. Like it just feels like it's like a balcony. Like like somebody built it by hand.
Yeah, but then there's no like booth for ball service. It's like ledges where people can stand and dance on it, right? And the booth is, I'm not kidding, like where you guys are sitting with this table on this carpet, like this is the whole DJ booth. It's like
it's under a stairwell.
Yeah, it was just weird.
A staircase.
But again, just all random off the cuff bangers.
Yeah.
And like I think they might have played a couple of their own songs just because whatever. But it wasn't planned. It was like they played. Okay, you guys want to do something? I'm sure they got paid, but one of those random things. It's just like still I look back and that was one of the craziest sets.
I mean, it's dope when like. I think even for us, like reversing it in a way where it's like not producers first, but like DJs first, then, I mean, Conor had been producing for years, but like almost like not having to be like, oh shit, we have a fucking hit. Now we gotta learn how to DJ
6 songs in this hour set.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, like here's how to like mix and, coming from more of an open format background and then taking that to actually doing like a set with like 15 songs in an hour, you're like used to doing 45 songs in an hour. It's like it changes the game a little bit, but then you can also go and throw down at after parties. To book that after party and to actually go in and be like, come in and like play hip hop into house, into dance, into this, throwbacks,
whatever
all
the
that.
Crowd's vibing.
Whatever they're vibing to, because at the after party it might not be about you, but you're booked to, to bring some more people.
To open for somebody else, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I remember, I wasn't here, but I remember hearing this story when Rudimental was...
I'm going to do it in a sec,
Rudimental was playing in Toronto a couple years back, and they had an after... I mean, Rudimental's like this super dope UK like drum and bass type group. And they were doing an after party at Soho House in Toronto, and their live show is very much heavily like dance music forward, drum and bass forward, that UK sound, like really, really cool. But at Soho House, like, you know, like I heard they're playing like, you know, Tribe Called Quest and like, you know, like old Jay-Z records and like old funk and old soul. And you're like,
yeah.
And like, you know, like that's so cool. Like I just love how like these like artists can come in and play what inspires them as well, you know, and like they're like, this is who we are at home type thing, and like here's a little like sneak peek of that, you know, like, because you have the show and like you know, people pay and they want to see like your show and they want to see like this is what it is, and like it has pyro and it has all these cues and these lights and everything, and like that's what people are paying for, and they expect that, and like that's you give that to them, and then like when you have these like more
so round two, you're the best.
You have these more
thank you,
you know,
thank you.
After the party, the after party type show, like you can kind of get away with doing a little bit more left field, a little bit more what you might be inspired to on your own type thing. So
I love those, and it's interesting because to your point, like people, you know, the average fan, let's say, of any artist in the world, no matter what you do, they want to come and hear your hits and all that. That's why they know you are. Yeah. But see, as someone like, I'm not an artist, but someone who's been in music before, like I want to show up and be surprised, like hear something happen or something, you know, whatever it is, whether it's a different set, you know, you bring out random guests, like, even if they're not someone big, like your buddy who's an up and coming artist, like something different, something cool to give it that surprise element, and like, oh, I didn't know this side of them. But again, to your point, that's not what the tickets are being sold for, which is kind of unfortunate, you know, but
you know, well, I'm like a big concert goer. I don't know if you guys know. I go to like, I don't know, 20, 30 concerts a year. I look at the sets ahead of time because you know that they're coming from Chicago, Boston, or New York, or Montreal.
I saw you.
They all do that, right? Like, and I get it. This is the, you know, Shawn Mendes. This is the Believe tour, whatever his tour is called. So I know the sets can be roughly the same. But whenever somebody goes and does something different, and sometimes they even say in the set list, it'll be like, you know, 3-song, whatever. They change up and they play, I don't know, a local talent song, right? So a lot of people, when they come to Toronto, they would do like a Drake, like a remix or something.
Yeah.
You love it because you're like, I wasn't expecting that. That's something different. It's something fun. It's something random, right? But so that, as a fan perspective, that's what I love seeing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys too, though. What do you guys like? And maybe this is off topic, whatever.
I mean, I feel like we've been on.
Yeah.
This.
Do you guys like DJing, like house parties and like DJ shows, like club, or is it like corporate stuff? Because I feel like corporate obviously pays better. I'm assuming. Yeah, like, sorry, but I feel like DJing club events or like house parties and like fun events are just more fun.
Yeah, it really depends. Like, I mean, at the same time, all of our stuff we're like independent, right? And like we fund our entire project ourselves. It's like we just wanted to have that control of our brand from the beginning. So it's like, of course, doing the corporate and private event stuff is like fun. You know, it like goes hand in hand with continuing to keep doing what we love to do. But it's funny because it's like,
it's a very politically correct answer. Yeah.
You get the like you get the private event corporate, like, but you know, a lot of times now, especially like after COVID, it's actually been different where it's like their parties are like parties because you're not wasting people's time. It's like, and people have the budgets to throw a good party and they're like, everyone's doing it. So their corporate party has to be dope. It can't just be like an in-store thing, you know? But of course, like for us, it's like to turn up at like 1 a.m. in a club, like, you know, there's no better feeling than to like remove. DJing is really, for, you know, for me personally, and I'm sure Conor, it's like removing yourself from that like day-to-day life and like being in that moment and also doing it for other people. Like that's why we do it, you know, like that moment where you like see someone like
having the best night,
and you're just like, whoa, like you're controlling those emotions, you know? So it's different. DJing a private party and having to stick within a certain format in order to cater to a certain brand isn't your brand, but that's also, you know, for us, it's like
helps you grow.
It helps us grow, but it also is why we started Flight School, because it's just like, yo, we actually have like a vision with a certain sound that we want to like deliver, and that is our creative outlet of like the type of music that we want to make and like what we want to do. And rather than like we're here to cater to like your sound, when we come together and DJ as Flight School, it's like, let us bring you into this world that like we're inspired by, and hope that like we introduce you to a whole new like world.
That's fair.
Know.
How would you describe that world, that like your creative outlet, Flight School? If you could in if you could put it in a capsule, how would you explain it?
It's so
if you
hard.
can,
yeah.
I mean, like
you just got to be there, George.
To be honest, like,
yeah. Sometimes it's hard to explain a creative thought or feel. It is not easy to explain.
In the
sometimes.
music though, there's definitely a vision, and like, I mean, it's for us together. It's like, it's cool. I'm not on the producer. Like, I'm not like behind the computer like producing. Like that's all Conor. I'm on the like, pretend that I'm the listener. And like when he sends something, like I have to be like, okay, where were you going with that? And also be like, damn, like a lot of people would vibe to this. So that's where, but on the producer side, like where do you want to bring
like,
people?
Especially with this EP that we're about to release, like it's really interesting, like even how the track list is 6-song EP and how the track list is from 1 to 6, like you will definitely hear a full, what's the word I'm looking for? Like not change, but like just progression from, like from we're starting here and then we end at this type of sound. And like we structured it in that way as well. So like, like bringing our sound down to like, oh, we just do this. Like, we're not just tech house producers. We're not just, future-based producers. Like we're not just progressive producers. Like we kind of like, we have grown up with so much different types of musical inspiration and play so much types of different music when we play regularly that like it's kind of just fused its way into like this is how we are going to be making music, and like there's nothing we can really do about it. Because like like so on our album or on our EP, like it starts off very kind of like I would say almost like more moody, like almost more like Rufus E, and then kind of goes a little bit more tech, and then kind of it swings back to like ends with some future bass. So we're hitting like every major like dance like check mark, I guess, in the sounds that we are releasing, and like that's simply because like when we perform as well, like we will be doing a full spectrum of a set. We're not going to be just doing the strictly 74 BPM future bass set for 2 hours. Like we're showing, we're taking,
which is the emotional side.
People want to go on a journey.
Yeah, and we want to go on that journey. Exactly.
Take people on that journey, and like it's just what what we do, and like and that's who we are, and like and that's who we always will be, and we're constantly listening to so much new stuff and just like picking out little pieces of like, oh, I like this, I love that synth lead, or I love this type of vocal, or I love this type of effect on whatever, and like we're adding that to our arsenal as we keep creating and releasing music. So yeah, like pinning it down to just one sound is like honestly impossible.
Which probably people in music are like, but you need one thing that you like. It's like, it's funny.
But that's what's interesting. You see, and that's what I was gonna say next too. It's most artists, when you hear who they are, you can kind of, if you know them, you can tell what kind of sound, more or less, like within a little bit of margin of
totally.
Whatever what I'm trying to say. As someone who's like just a listener, not even on the creative side of things, being a fan of music, I feel like I've been seeing more, not a lot of this, but more artists kind of playing a wider range in that now, which is kind of cool because I'm sure you guys know this. I guess when you DJ, or if you're anything involved with music, like you typically don't just like one kind of music. It's very, very, I think, seldom to say this is the only thing I like and this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. Like I would venture to guess even people that do country like hip hop, let's say, or something. Right? You can appreciate other kinds of music. So, anyways, I guess what I'm getting at is you saying like they just say this is your thing, this is what you do. I respect that you guys are kind of saying this is what we like. We're gonna do it. You said earlier you want to control your kind of creative process, so you're doing independently. Yeah, and that's really cool because you can kind of tinker with it, right? And who knows? Maybe a couple of years from now, you're like, oh, we like this side of it more than this side.
Yeah, and like we don't want someone to jump in and be like, no, not that sound. Do this.
Do this one song to begin. Stick to this style.
Because at the end of the day, like, of course, this might change if we had like a global hit and people are like, we need that same thing, But at the same time, it's like each one of our records has had a little bit of a different sound, but at the same time, like it's cohesive. Like, there's style.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Style of drums. Like when you listen, it's different, but you still go like, yeah, but the type of like melody in the vocal is kind of similar across the board. Like you got to have something that's
you can recognize the sound. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
is it fair, and I'm going to bring this example up because I'll never forget this. when Alesso was kind of coming up and becoming big, he released an EP, and I think it was 2 songs, and I forget the first song, but I know that it was like his big room style. But then he had a song, I think it's called Millionaire, and it was very like, it was almost like offbeat, didn't even sound like his typical synth and drums and all that. Like it kind of did, but it kind of didn't. It was very like, it was the same but different, if that makes sense. And that always stuck with me because I'm like, this is so, it's kind of like random, but I've never forgotten that because I'm like, oh, this is cool. This must have been something that he wanted to do that was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
and you know, just speaking about artists, like, you know, we get asked all the time, like, who's your number one? Who's your influence? Like, you know, who do you kind of gain inspiration from? And while there's millions of artists, you know, like in terms of who we are most, I guess, you know, inspired by, I guess, like would be Diplo. You know, Diplo is like I said, like he's releasing. Carter's got back there, our guy. It's not just because you're here.
No, but if you think about what Diplo's been a part of over the last decade.
Totally.
And, you know, like, there's the Major Lazer sound and the stuff he does on his own. And then the stuff he produces that nobody knows he produces, like, he did Beyonce Run This World. He did Leona Lewis.
Paper Planes, dude.
He's done so many things. You're like,
he also has a 6th, very diverse. Very, very cool.
No, but even when you think about this, like so many artists, whether it's on the same album or it's from album to album, like artists, their vision, their moods, their feelings, their emotions, everything changes, right? Like look at Drake's recent album. You know, a lot of people in North America said, "Oh, it's a flop. We hate it." Blah blah blah. You listen to people's Snapchats, Instagrams, TikToks from Mykonos, Ibiza, blah blah. It's just straight Drake.
Right. Yeah.
You know, High Ibiza. George won't know this because George.
I saw. Yeah, someone showed me.
So like Black Coffee basically played half the album, right?
Yeah. Sick.
He just played half the album at High Ibiza, and people are going fucking absolutely nuts.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe Drake wanted to grow his European following base. Who maybe just wanted to have a fun
also
summer, right?
Being ahead of that vibe too.
Again, that's what he was feeling. He made music that he wanted to make, and he didn't give a fuck what other people think.
Yeah.
I think he either tweeted or said in an interview when people said, "What do you think about the people who don't like your music? They just don't understand what my music is. If they don't like it, that's fine. They can listen to the old stuff
6 months from now."
Yeah, and then this
100%.
is the future of my music. And maybe 6 months from now, a year from now, he changes and goes back to, you know, those club stomping hip hop bangers. Or maybe he keeps going in this kind of whatever music that is.
They're on
like
the wave, like they're early on this shit, right? Like in 6 months, this is going. You know, like
well, it's
that's
ironic that him and
the
Beyonce both did it, right? So it's like
there's
either they're on
a
to something or.
There's a trend I think coming out of like, I mean, COVID, like we're but slowly coming out of that, like the last 2 years, the style of music that people are actually super into. Like, I mean, I'm a big hip hop fan, but when people release like dance and the style of music that's coming out on that, like even what he did, it's just like there's a different energy. There's a bit more of a positive energy, and I think it just makes people want to dance. And I think that whole wave is going to come where people are just like, damn, I actually just want to go to the club solo and dance.
That is so funny you say that. I've never I'm not a shy person. I'm not someone to get up on the dance floor. But the one thought I've had in the past couple months is like, we're going to Europe for the month. I'm like, I just want to be somewhere where I can move. It's weird. I've never had this thought in my head.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's I feel like it's a lot of pent up emotion. Let's say we want to let it out and then want to let it out to something that gets them moving a certain way or whatever. So
I want to like vibe out with a drink solo. I don't need to like hang out in a booth and listen to like you know? Like just like be in my own world. I don't know, it puts you in a different world. You know, and
Absolutely.
I think that's super important. And I think creatively music, you know.
Yeah.
I hope we're not like boring people about like technical
No. This is
terms
great.
of like music.
No, but it's like, you know what? Someone made a TikTok about...
Connor just literally been waiting. We've gone.
Sorry, Connor.
No, it's like, I mean, just like a little bit on that point as well. It's like, you know, even just like, you know, when we see it from a club goer's perspective, like things are like post-COVID, like it's so different than what it was, you know, pre-COVID. Like pre-COVID, what time would you go to the bar pre-COVID?
After midnight, probably.
Yeah. 11:30, 12, 12:15, you know. Like, now it's like 10 o'clock, people are there. And they're like, we need to dance. They're like, let's like get it going, man. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay,
The opener's like, yeah.
Okay, best time to be an opener.
And now you guys are like, fuck, we're not openers anymore.
People are trash by like 12:30. They have no idea you guys are playing.
Exactly.
They're not giving you any thumbs up. It's all a thumbs up to the openers.
The opener.
Yeah.
This is the
Yo, that
opener's
opener
time
was
to shine.
sick. Oh, man, who's the man? I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
not even that. It's the main event and the closer now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Opener's time to shine right now.
No, but back to like the whole vibe music. Rufus the Soul. A lot of their music is based off like outdoor, good feeling, good vibes, like just grooving with yourself. And I saw TikTok. Someone was like, I don't know who the fuck Rufus is, but how does the entire city of Toronto, like how's the entire city of Toronto going? Yeah. And it's just like, I feel like, again, post-COVID, people picked up, they just want music they can feel good to and dance with, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I think their music specifically like hits such a, at least for me, like it hits such a crazy emotional nerve that like you can like you can hear in his voice, you're like, oh my god, you're like, I can feel what you're saying.
I don't even think his voice is that good, but when he sings, I'm just like, I can't stop.
I can't stop listening. And like the chord progressions they use are just like they're
crazy.
so pretty. And you're just like, I'm whatever.
Did you guys go to that concert?
No, I can't remember where I was. But
You were probably in LA, right?
I wasn't here. Yeah.
How does it work with you guys when one's here, one's in LA?
Pretty good actually.
Honestly,
I like that. Long distance relationship works.
Connor's like, yeah, exactly. Connor's like, it's great.
A couple reasons why
he's
it's
3
great.
hours ahead.
So I wake up and I have a 3-hour window before I know I'm gonna just get a million texts. So like from like 8 till 11, 8 till 11, I'm like, I'm good I can do whatever I want. And at 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay, here we go. And it's like, oh god.
Whenever we're in the same, like whenever I land in Toronto, it's like 7:30. I'm like texting him already. I'm just yeah. So time difference is on our side for sure. I just like.
So you're the one that's always thinking about what to do, what to do next, and being on it.
Yeah. I'm like,
here's what
I
I'm
live
you
in,
eat, sleep, and breathe what you do because you love it.
And like,
we both do. It's just
we
like
both do.
He just works in a different way.
I'm very similar to what I do for like in cleaning, which is weird that I like it, but the business that we're in, I get enjoyment out of working in it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sit in front of my computer at like 11
love
o'clock with a TV show on, barely paying attention, just like working, having a drink. I just can't stop. It's all I think about.
I know, same.
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes you, I don't know, makes you feel like you're going crazy sometimes because it's just like Saturday morning and like so funny. We have a camera in our office at home because like my dog sits. It's on the second floor and like my dog sits out the window because there's no window on the first floor to look out the door. And so we have a camera to like see when we're out, like, oh, he's chilling in the window. He's all good. But like my girl like send me a photo on like Saturday morning, be like, it's Saturday morning. And I'm like on the camera, like in the office, like sending something to like Conor. And I'm like, shit, she sees me. Like I'm like trying to be like quiet in the office, like doing something on Saturday morning.
And I'm like playing PS5. I'm like, Saturday morning. Baby. Like, like I'm free. And then I get text. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And I'm like on camera. I'm like, fuck, got caught. But I don't know. I'm very much like, I love it. And I also just, I don't know, like if a day goes by when we're not moving forward, I'm like, that's a day that, we lost, which it makes you fucking crazy, because you're just like, take a day, but at least in that mindset, you can at least be like, okay, it's Wednesday and all of a sudden you're feeling a little burnt out. You're like, like go do something for yourself and like go chill, and like sometimes it's like, oh, we don't talk that day and like whatever. But I think it's just, my whole thing is like, any idea that comes to mind, I'm like, I text because it's just like, don't
I will
let
message
that
people
go
on my
away.
team like at 1 a.m. just so I don't forget it. And I'll send it. I'm like, sorry if I bothered you. I got to share this. So we can talk about it tomorrow.
And it might be a bad, terrible, whatever idea, but I'm just like, I'm not sending this and to be like, let's do this right now. It's always just like,
this is what's on my mind.
Because it might also, for my side of it is like, I'm here to inspire another side. Yeah. So if like I see something that I'm like, damn, this is like,
there could be something here, but I don't know what.
It might not be exactly this. It's just like, this gave me a feeling. So I send that and be like, let's see if it gives you that feeling or if it sparks something, be like, damn, okay, like you know what? Like I got that same feeling. Like we got to like go in that direction or whatever it is, And so I think it's just, I don't know. I'm very much in the mindset that like one thing can completely change your entire life. And
it's also one, the one that's kind of stuck with me, and I don't know who said it. But essentially, like if it's 1% better every day or one thing you do, it doesn't just multiply compounds, right? So
totally.
I think one of it's like compound interest is the greatest thing that ever happened in finance or whatever the hell the quote is. But honestly, as long as you just don't stay stagnant, I think, and you never know too, especially guys like you on the creative side. Like it's you just never know. You never know where you're gonna put what position you're gonna put yourself, what idea comes, all these things, right? And that's all you have to do is even one shot a day or whatever.
And it's really weird.
It seems like you guys are doing now, which is great. I mean, you know, I've known you for a lot longer. You know, your career's obviously progressed quite substantially. So I mean, like you guys seem to be doing all the right things, which is great.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, it's
the trickiest part is for you guys is that there's no like 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. It's like you're kind of always on and always going. It's like, okay, when do you take a break? Okay, if you take a break, maybe that creative idea, that creative thought might not. So like I get it in the tough part. What you said or one of you said about kind of like you never know what that moment is or what that thing is.
Yeah.
Like, all it takes is one lucky break.
Yeah.
You know, in the creative space, like you think about like artists, musicians, fucking these TikTokers. Like, all it is one lucky break. Look at the guy with the drink, the juice on the skateboard.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you know, life changed dramatically overnight from one video. The skateboard guy. He sings that song by
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Isn't it and also
weird?
think about Lucky Break.
How crazy that is.
I bet you 90%, maybe not 90% of the world, but how many people our age knew? I knew who Fleetwood Mac was, but how many people knew Fleetwood Mac before that song went viral?
Because that one. But isn't it great? Like I have to get this out because this is my shit. I love this type of stuff, and I don't think it's about like I need to work. I think it's always about the idea of like feeling like it's always open. Like I'm always like, if I'm walking around, I'm like, you're always open to an idea. And I think that idea might come at any point in time. And I think that's crazy because at the same time, like when you're working on music and Conor sends me an idea and I'm just like, holy fuck, that's it. Like, don't like change this beat. Don't change the song. Like keep going with that idea. And I'm like, the next day you're almost like, yo, I'm so happy that you actually like, that came about like creatively. Because that shit, creative shit has, you know, like when you hear a song, you're like, oh, great. Like, yeah, you did a good job. But it's like someone had to think of that from like scratch. You had to sit in that studio that day and like do something. I think having that creative outlet and like mine and like when someone lands on something, that's why like when a hit happens or whatever, like the video you're talking about, like for that dude to be like, I'm going to go on a skateboard and like drink this thing. Like he's not being like, everyone's going to love it. He's just being like, I'm going to do this. And then when it hits, then you look back and be like, I'm so happy I thought of that idea. So being open all the time to like those potential ideas. If you go like, I'm shutting off because it's Saturday and Sunday, that might be when you're gonna get your craziest idea, you know. So it's really crazy.
I saw a quote and I can't remember. And I've been thinking about it for the last minute or 2 minutes. Somebody did with how like being lucky, being opportunistic, and being successful are all like correlated somehow. The quote's obviously better than that, but like the idea that those three are so related, it's so true because you never know when opportunity is gonna come. It's not you like some people wait for the right opportunity to strike, and it makes sense in a lot of times, but sometimes like. It's just accidentally there. Sometimes it's like, you know, you're just walking, you just happen to walk across something and then you take a picture of it and boom, it turns out that's an amazing photo or something. Or like, you never know. And specifically in this like creative entrepreneurial space, because again, you never fucking know what's going to happen, right?
No idea.
The thing is too, is like the
if we all knew the answer, none of us would fucking be here doing this.
Exactly.
Totally. We'd be living in fucking mansions.
But the thing is, if you want to succeed, I guess probably ask anyone who succeeded in life for the most part. There's people that have been one-hit wonders in music or flash in a one year in the league in the NHL, whatever it is. Like people do get lucky and in right place, right time. But for the most part, like it's true. The harder you work, the luckier you get. But it's just because you're again taking more of those opportunities, taking more chances,
taking more shots,
and you're fleshing out. And not only that, like you're getting so many ideas and so many opportunities. But that's allowing you to flesh out the bad ones, even if you don't think they're the bad ones at the time. Like today, I could be sitting here and saying, I'm going to open this new business. It's a great idea, and then 3 months later, it's a flop and it's shit and lost money. And at the time I thought it was great. It probably still was great, but it let me
learn something.
Exactly. It lets you get rid of that one and move on to the next one. And the more shots you take at the wall, the more you're gonna realize these are all probably shit in hindsight. But it's okay. Like I've took some of this and now I produced this one. And again, like that's at the end of the day, that's all you can do in anything you do and want to pursue. You have to be willing to just take those chances, take those shots, and keep moving forward.
And in the end, you'll be okay. I've always said that. I'm like, if we put everything that we can into whatever we do, we can be okay with the outcome because we know we never left anything unturned. I'm like, we've tried it all, and I'm okay to go on to the next step of my life. If I go like, we tried it all, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know, some people got lucky. You may not have gotten that lucky break, but you got to just like, put out the stuff that you create because you have no idea what's going to connect at any moment and any time. And I think
a few of our records,
cool.
I'm going to cut you off. A few of our records that we were just like, you know, maybe like we're not super stoked on or whatever. Like those have actually been some of the better ones, and the ones that we were like, this is the one, was like never the one. And I think that's, you know, that's such a common story among so many artists. Like, you know, like you can't recreate that hit, and you know, it's almost impossible. And so yeah, like just the kind of moral of the story is just create, keep putting stuff out. And you know, just like a funny little tip that I always found that like was a really interesting thing. I watched this like masterclass that Deadmau5 put on a couple years ago, and one of the things that he said that I thought was really interesting and that I've done in the past was you know, when he was doing his, I don't know if you've seen his live streams where he'll stream from like, you know, like 8 p.m. to like 6 a.m. Like he just goes hard, and like every night or a couple nights a week. And like one of the things he did or he said was like, he's like, I'm in the studio for, you know, like 8-9 hours a night. He's like, I just create a bunch of stuff. He's like, I'm not getting to like anything good until like, you know, like 3-4 a.m. He's like, and that's when like you're kind of like a little like sleep deprived, little like, you know, your guard is down, and then like that's when you're being like you, and that's when you're creating like the most like, I'm just gonna like take this risk, take this chance, like try this chord progression, try this sound, this whatever, and like just throw it at the wall and like see what happens. And like we've written records, I've produced beats, like whether it's like, you know, Saturday morning at like, you know, 6 a.m. because I can't sleep, or like, you know, I get home from the bar and I'm like, here we go, and I'm up till, you know, 3-4 a.m. writing just like whatever, and like I listen to it the next day and I'm like, this is like the coolest record we've made, you know, in a long time. And you know, I think it's just like it's an interesting way of like thinking about the creative process. Is like at that moment there's no blinders on, and you're just going, I'm here to just
kind of like
put it all on paper, put it all out there.
You kind of like letting your ego kind of like leave, like, you know what, no one's gonna judge me for this. It's like, you know, I'm gonna go some bullshit at the wall and see what sticks, and have some fun with it.
And you might never release it maybe, but like, you know, you're putting yourself out there, you're putting yourself on, you know, on paper or, you know, on a song or whatever. Like you're doing that, and it's super super important to, you know, just to have that as well. Like,
absolutely. I used to joke about this with a lot of the, like, musicians we've had on, because we talk about like the music you guys have in your vaults, right? Like music that has never been released, you thought it was good, turns out your manager said it sucked or whatever the case. So I was like, guys, give it to me, I'll release it. If I released all those songs that the musicians we had on our podcast didn't want to release or thought sucked, I would be famous right now.
Totally.
I'd be a famous musician. Because I bet you there's songs in each of your vaults, and again, we've had, you know, I don't know, 50 musicians on this podcast, and that they think suck, but it could fucking click on TikTok, or there's maybe it picks up in Indonesia, or you know, one of these random countries that like you would never have expected it. It's just you never know.
It almost be a cool experience where experiment where you're like, because everyone always has like, well, it doesn't fit our brand. But if your brand was just like, God, I actually just throw everything out.
Hey, this is what I was feeling today. This is what I was feeling
kind of like Marshmello, to be honest. He's like, I'm doing like this pop hit. Now I'm huge in like South America. Now I'm here. It's like sick. I think that's crazy. Cool. And it's actually,
if I had any really musical talent, I would be releasing things on a weekly basis. Whatever's in my mind. It's not even done. Boom, it's released.
Yeah.
I know. I just have like when I mean I have zero musical talent, like zero.
Yeah, like, it's true. You do have
I wish I even had like, if I had 10% musical talent, like even fucking 5%, like, I would be releasing music on a weekly basis.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's that like famous, like, I think it's Toto, the band, like Africa. They had this, like, there's this one story. Banger.
I love that. I still love that song.
They had this, like, if I'm
Carl Wolf
recalling correctly, like they had this.
Carl Wolf just started following us. That's great.
Oh yeah, true. Shout out Carl.
There you go. While you bring it up.
There was a story that they had like a listening party for, I guess, that album that Africa was on, and like Africa was the last song, and they were like, we're probably not even gonna release this record. This is just kind of like a bonus. Like they were telling this to like their fans or their label or whoever. And they're like, okay, so like, which one did you guys like the most? And everyone's like, Africa's the jam. They're like, are you serious? They're like, what? And then that was the biggest one. Like, that
it's so interesting.
It's crazy, you know. And that's the thing. It's like at the end of the day, you can put out as many records as you want, but it's gonna be the market that's gonna decide what they're feeling.
And now with the power of social media too, it's even crazier because there's songs that people released 10 years ago that were nothing, like no songs. Some random TikToker picks it up, makes a video, goes viral, boom, now it's a trend. Now some random person that has never done anything is now touring clubs playing this random song that nobody knows.
This song, I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even have the stems for those songs.
Yeah, it's wild.
What do I do? Like,
do that song out.
Yeah, seriously.
That's wild.
Yeah, you guys have a stop, I think you said, so we're going to kind of wrap up. But one thing you said,
we're getting the chug your drink and get the fuck out.
You said that we're going to just do everything we can and just like keep moving forward. And if we do everything in our power, whatever happens is going to happen. You're comfortable with whatever the next thing is in life. And that's a very interesting mindset, and I love it because I feel like more people should embrace that. Because at the end of the day, if you give something everything, you should be content knowing you left it all on the court, on the table, whatever. And you're like, okay, good. We became big, or we ended our run. We're tired of this. Whatever the reason you decide to walk away, as long as you put it all out there and you can let it go, I think that's important too. Because for a multitude of reasons, right? You can harbor resentment. You didn't do this, that, the other. You can feel, you can kind of feel, I think resentment's the right word, but you know what I mean? Like you kind of have to be okay with the chapters of your life and moving forward, because like nothing, doesn't matter how long it lasts for, doesn't matter how whatever, like things are finite, right? There's a time span on them. So I think, again, you guys seem to be doing all the right things, and kudos to you guys. It's been a great episode too. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm stoked that I
could sit here for another hour, to be honest.
You guys are great. Awesome. This is sick. Awesome. And like we've been watching you guys and like
thank you for
having us.
It's unfortunate this is going to release after the release party, but obviously you guys have the release party tomorrow night, which is July 22nd. EP's called
Under the Sun.
6 songs. Right?
6 songs, yeah.
6 songs.
That sounds like an album to listen to in Europe and just dance.
Yeah.
We blasted it all.
I wish we could. We'll play you a song after this.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably coming to the party tomorrow.
Oh, sick! Hell yeah!
Amazing.
Fuck yeah! That'd be amazing.
That's how this whole thing's right.
I mean, that's how this came about.
I was like, all right, you're in town. Let's get you guys on.
A couple surprises tomorrow as well, which we're really stoked to show. And it's been a crazy process just getting the whole thing organized, so I'm stoked to show you what we got.
Love it, man.
planned.
Love it.
One last thing we always ask, like what else do you guys have in store for the year coming up? Any project plans, shows, whatever, anything on the radar?
This, to be honest, it was like the reason why we're doing this here is because we also wanted to do like a show that we could actually control. And we sound like control. I mean, I'm a control. I can control my brand.
No, but tell you that. Same way.
But it's this like idea of if we can get 200 people in a room, like what experience do we want to give them? And if you do that booked by someone else or whatever, it might be on their So to terms. Us, when we spoke about this and how we want to deliver and show the project or snippets of the project and even like songs that inspired the project, it was like, let's throw our own party. And shout out to like Red Bull was involved and down, and they've basically helped us put this on. And I don't know, the idea for us was like, if we can do this like one thing for the project, what does that look like? And this is I guess the one big thing that we wanted to do this year, that we could actually also just show to like people in Europe, show to people like this is our sound and this is what we want to be doing and this is what we want to share. So at the end of the day, it was like we set our eyes on like this party that we could actually do and put on and do it right, and then from there kind of be like, okay, these are the style of shows that we want to be doing, this is the type of music that we want to be sharing and all this stuff. So I think right now it's get through this party, make it really sick, and have like 200 people be like, damn, I see what that is. And continue to build, like put out the music that we've been making. We're already making the next stuff.
We're like,
but at the end of the day, we're like, it's
You focus on this so you can have
Day to
finally
day.
one Wednesday off when this is all
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
go- go-
exactly.
I was like, I'm
break.
going, do not disturb.
Got that
Connor's like, oh,
Wednesday.
I'm gonna block Guy's number for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've been in months getting ready for this. Now I get a break.
Yeah. No,
good for you
every
guys,
day a
though.
little chip away every day and see where it goes. But
Good for you
honestly,
guys.
you guys are
Connor's gonna
fucking
move to
dope.
like Europe eventually to get like a full 8-hour heads up.
Oh yeah. He's like, I'm
Not
a
gonna
day ahead
respond
of
to
you.
a text till like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. I'm going to bed at 9. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Can't
Sorry.
talk.
Oh, man,
Can't
sorry.
talk.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Yeah. No, you guys are
on that
legends.
note, guys, thanks for coming on. If people want to find out more about you, what you're doing in the EP, where can they go? How can they find you?
Flights at Flight School on Instagram.
Wait, you guys have at Flight School?
We have at Flight School on Instagram and at Flight School on TikTok.
Oh, that's sick.
That's pretty sick.
Some dude was a legend on Instagram, and I had many conversations with him, and I was like, dude, I need to buy at Flight School from you. And I was like, Connor, you need to transfer me money. I need to buy at Flight School.
Man,
And he's
do
just,
you
oh,
understand the conversations I've had with so many people trying to buy like
Yeah.
at Ricky or like Rick or whatever?
Oh,
like,
true,
people was
true.
Like, one guy was like at Ricky, responded like, yeah, I want $500. I was like, yeah, fuck, done.
Done.
Oh, I want 700. Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Want 1,000.
Yeah.
All right, done.
Fine.
Canadian or American?
What do you
bro?
want?
Like, let's just,
Yeah.
Oh, I want 15. Okay, bro. Like just
Yeah.
tell me the
Euros.
I have cash. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want this name.
Yeah.
And then he's like 2,000. I'm like, okay, bro, fuck out of here.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, our guy, like,
The best one was they said no. He said 2,500. I was like, oh, bro, you're fucking with me now.
that's crazy. Yeah, we got it. And then, like, honestly, it was like only because on TikTok, there was one TikTok on under at Flight School, and it was just like a weed post. So I like messaged TikTok, and I was like, I don't know if we can include all this, but I was like,
Yeah,
you know, there was just like I was like, there's just one post, and it was posted in 2015, and it was just promoting, you know, marijuana, and I don't know if, you know, that's what exactly.
You narked on him and got
Wait,
it. That's
did you
actually
report that? Or
sick.
did you have someone?
That
at
is
TikTok?
sick. I
Wait,
respect
did you
that.
have someone at TikTok or? Did
I
you-
had so. I had
yeah.
Okay.
And
I was like, imagine
well,
that. He
yeah,
just-
but not like direct. I had to
it
like
was
find like, oh, you know someone, blah blah, blah, like
Yeah,
found my
yeah,
way
yeah,
to someone,
yeah.
and
Yo,
I
I
was
love
just
that
like,
though. Resourceful, man.
yeah, and then they were just like, well, let me look into it, and then, well, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll leave that. Like, we were talking about there.
We were.
it was the weed post that. No, yeah, we got
That's
it. I
awesome.
needed it. I needed it. I was like,
you
I
wouldn't
gotta-
have been able to. You've been
I couldn't sleep.
at night.
I know. Like,
Connor,
yeah,
Connor, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Please, we need it.
Man, he is like my spirit animal. I get it so much. I will end it a year, but I can tell you stories about me and Ricky with our startup. Like I was up all hours of the night, like 3 a.m. when I come in, like Rick, we gotta do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, fuck off. I'm trying to go out and have fun and party and drink.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, no, work always.
See, I'm very like work hard, play hard.
Love that.
And like I switch back and forth and like I
You
can
need
work.
that.
I can work 7 till 7, you know, and then 7 till 1 party,
Yeah.
and I'm up at 7 a.m. for those morning calls, no problem. And
Fuck
like
it. That's
I can do it, I can groove, but as long as I get my me time and
Yeah,
my
yeah.
me time, you know, we had times on the app and I was like, he's like, you should be working. I was like, bro, I just work 7 days in a row.
Yeah.
12-hour days, 13-hour days. Like, you're in fucking Greece right now. Fuck right off. I know you're working, but you're sitting in the sun. I'm fucking golfing today.
I work on my
Fuck right off.
vacations always. I have,
That's how you guys work, though. It's the same as a
and
relationship.
that's what makes teams,
you know?
right? That's what makes teams.
Fuck yeah.
Anyways,
Boys.
if you guys want to chill, we can chill after. But we appreciate
Let's
you guys.
wrap this
Thanks
up.
for listening. Other than that, send this to your friends, share this with your friends, and check out their new EP on.
I mean, it's not out yet, but you know,
Okay, it'll be out soon.
Soon.
So check them out.
One thing at a time.
Cheers, guys.
Peace.